Good evening and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin, principal of Simply Improve Health, and I help people to train better and longer, have improved sleep, and enjoy better quality of health using simple, native to the body products and simple techniques. And I'm also the dream detective, and I help people find the gold in the gobbledygook of their dreams so that they can live the lives they dream of. Tonight's live is, strangely enough, is the result of, well, what ostensibly was a stomach bug, and I'll explain what I mean by that. As I've been saying over the last few lives, talking about learning and teaching, I believe that a good teacher needs to constantly be learning. It's the best service that a teacher can render to his or her students is to constantly expanding their knowledge and growing themselves. So, in light of that principle, this week I've been taking a master class in basically getting rid of mental malware. And what that means is that we all have these little unconscious programs that run on autopilot in the backgrounds of our minds. And when we don't, because we don't know that they're running, we can't fight against them or correct them. And so those little messages like you're not good enough, people won't like me, or I'm afraid I'm going to fail. All of those little messages that run on autopilot in the back of our mind becomes mental malware. We don't even know it's there, but it's there screwing up our lives and making us miserable. So to get back to this master class that I've been doing this past week, it's about, as I say, getting rid of the mental malware, but in five distinct areas of one's life, from ideas about you may have about wealth, about personal relationships, about non-personal relationships, and other things as well. So it's lasting for Monday through Friday, and on Tuesday night I had we were talking about our attitudes towards wealth in this live webinar, and the facilitator did a guided meditation, and I remember very distinctly when I had received some of my mental malware about wealth, and not being able to have, I can't have it kind of thing. And strangely enough, well, not so strangely enough, I seemed to suddenly develop this stomach bug. And I mean, it wasn't pretty, folks. I'm going to spare you the details, but it wasn't nice, to say the least. And people say, just coincidence. But being an intuitive, I look for the coincidences in life and the synchronicities in life. And this was just too hard on the heels. I was feeling fine up until that point, but this came so hard on the heels of this visualization that I connected the two together. And that when I had the thought that I must be really clearing some old garbage about wealth. And I remember the moment. I was 5 years old. I remember that exact moment. And I think from that moment, I started to actually feel ill. So I thought about that, and I had the second thought that, well, when birds fly, before they fly, they usually dump whatever's in their gut, usually on your head if you're standing under them. I don't believe that that's good luck, folks. Having a bird crap on my head is not, I don't think it's great luck. But in any case, the analogy to me was kind of clear that in order to be able to soar and fly, you have to get rid of the baggage. You have to get rid of the stuff that's weighing you down. And when I had that thought that the symptoms that I was feeling kind of abruptly stopped, it was really quite surreal, because it was like somebody had flipped the switch and these symptoms started, and then I had the thought and switched it back off. And that was quite powerful. I mean, I'm still feeling a bit tired because I was up and down all night. But it was an object lesson that our bodies, A, act out what we're not expressing, and B, you can't fight against something that you've buried so deeply that you don't even know it's there. It wasn't until that it came up as a clear thought, and whatever memory I was holding in it, and I probably was feeling quite angry and sick to my stomach at 5 years old when this event occurred. But the thing was that I felt an immediate shift um, once I had dropped the shit. And that's what kind of indicated to me that I had gotten the message, thankfully, and didn't have to to suffer with being upset, having an upset stomach anymore. And I would challenge you to think about that. Where are you possibly holding back, being held back, holding yourself down? In order to be able to fly in any area of your life, whether it be in your personal or professional relationships, or in your business, whatever it may be, if you're holding on to baggage that's weighing you down, and baggage even worse that you don't even know is there, you will always be striving and not quite making it, because there's always that little thing that's putting up an invisible wall for you. And I would challenge you, if you're finding that you're blocked, or feeling that you can't make progress, or you can only get so far, or that there's things that just seem to be holding you back and you can't quite figure out what it is, then I would challenge you that maybe you need to look around and find a way forward, whether that be a master class, whether it may be, training. I mean, this program that I'm doing is with mind movies. But there are so many groups and organizations and that you can tap into, paid and free, that can help you to kind of get a handle on these invisible monsters that are wreaking havoc in your life without you even realizing it. I found that quite often when I'm working as a psychotherapist, that to ask people, when is the first time you felt something, is the actual key to unraveling whatever's bedeviling them later on in life. And this was an obvious lesson for me to remember that quite often the stuff that's tripping us up as adults is stuff that happened way back when, and we no longer even have a memory of, but it's still there and it's still hanging around. So think about that. Whatever challenges you may be facing, look and say, is it just the normal challenges of life, or is there something that may be deeper? Because we can always peel the layers of the onion of ourselves off. There's always, once we learn something new about ourselves, something else will come up that we have to learn about and deal with. So lighten that load. Dump the mental malware. Dump that shit before it keeps you from flying, because it will keep you from flying, and you'll be frustrated and you won't understand why. And if you need help to do that, get it. You can certainly contact me. I can give you some information and pass you on to people who may work with you and be able to help you. But certainly not tackling those invisible bugaboos, those bits of mental malware that we carry around with us, is not going to go away, because you don't know they're there. Somebody else has to show you the way. And then you can drop that stuff and finally soar like a bird. So I leave you with that thought. Are you soaring as much as you'd like to, or are able to, or is something weighing you down? Think about that. And I leave that thought with you. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Thanks for for being patient with my story about my upset stomach, but it really did have relevance in this case to me. And if that resonates with you, let me know. Drop some love hearts, drop a comment, drop some emojis, whatever it is. Or if you like, send me a message. Thanks again for watching and listening. Have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.